Today, I'm going to show you how I meal prep using an Instapot or a slow cooker for my toddler. So today we're making beef stew, and I wanted to show you the things that I do to make meal prep easier. I'm going to show you what I do to meal prep and the help that I have and some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way when you're using an Instapot or a slow cooker. So this is something I love to do because I can either meal prep the food and put it in at night before I go to bed and it's ready in the morning, or I put it in first thing in the morning and then it's ready for dinner. So to start for this recipe, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the Instapot. And then I'm going to proceed by putting the meat in there and then all of the vegetables. And so for this recipe, I used some fresh vegetables and some frozen vegetables. And this is a good way to get your little one to eat more veggies. And so I had help with chopping up the meat into 1/4-inch pieces, and I like to do this because if I can chop the meat small enough so that I don't have to worry about going back and re-chopping everything when it's done so that it's small enough for Nolan, then I don't have to worry about him choking. So when I have somebody help me cut up meat, or if you go to your butcher counter and ask them to cut up a piece of meat for you, you can specify that you want it small enough so that you're not having to do extra work for yourself. So once I put the meat in there, then we're going to put the frozen vegetables in with the frozen vegetables. For this, I have about a 1/2 cup of frozen mushrooms, green beans, and peas and carrots. And so those are the frozen vegetables. And then I also have cut up bell pepper and cut up butternut squash. So with the cut up vegetables, a really good option if you have trouble cutting things up is to get pre-cut vegetables either from the grocery store. Trader Joe's is a really great option as they have a ton of pre-cut vegetables that are all separated. So if you want fresh vegetables, you can do that. Or I noticed that Whole Foods does their frozen vegetables cut up pretty small so that it's a lot less work for me and it saves a lot of time. So once we go ahead and put this in the Instant Pot, I'm also going to show you what I do with the scraps. So once we put the butternut squash in, I'll explain what I do about the scraps and something that really helped me. And then so when I started doing a lot of meal prep for Nolan, I found myself constantly rolling back and forth to the trash can, getting food scraps all over myself, getting sauce all over myself, and I was like, I have to come up with another solution. So what I did is I took a small plastic container and put a small trash bag liner like you would use for a bathroom trash can, and I went ahead and lined it so that when I'm cutting up vegetables, if I am doing it myself, which I'll usually do when Nolan is sleeping because having a cutting board on my lap, he's constantly wanting to climb in my lap and it just makes it really hard to cut up vegetables. So when I use the trash container, I can just throw everything in there, and then I keep it, when I'm not cooking, I keep it on the back of the sink so that I'm able to just throw things in there and not have to roll back and forth with trash that's not contained in my lap, and that's really helped me. So then I'm going to go ahead and move this trash container over, and then we're going to put in the spices. And in here I have cumin, asafoetida, which is an Indian spice to replace onion and garlic since that's something I struggle with eating. And then paprika, chili powder, and a little bit of salt. So that's going to get sprinkled in there. And then I ran out of salsa, so in this recipe I would either use salsa or tomato sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a can of tomato sauce in there and about probably a 1.5 to 2 cans of water. And then so once the water gets poured in there, I'm just going to go ahead and put the Instant Pot on the slow cooker setting for 6 to 8 hours. probably in this situation 6 hours since the meat is already defrosted. But if you're in a position where you have to cut up meat yourself, another really good tip that I have for you is to cut the meat when it is still partially frozen, so it's not obviously not rock solid, but if it's partially frozen, it's a lot easier to cut and doesn't have as much play in the meat, so it cooperates a little bit better, I like to say. So then we'll just go ahead and put the lid on the Instant Pot and set it on the slow cooker setting for 6 hours, and in 6 hours dinner will be ready. You can also throw potatoes in this recipe if you want, or rice, but I'm just starting out with this, and then hopefully it will be delicious. Okay, so now that we have the Instant Pot set at 6 hours all ready to go on slow cook, I just wanted to show you guys what I do to portion out Nolan's meals after the food is ready. So when the food is ready, I will go ahead and dish it out into these little 1-cup containers by Anchor that are glass, so that I can just easily microwave them, because I prefer not to microwave his food in plastic. And when I do this, I can portion it out into 1-cup portions, so that I'm not having to transfer his food from a much larger container into a smaller bowl while he's climbing in my lap, and then we have soup everywhere. Trust me, I've definitely learned that one the hard way, and so I started using containers like this, so that when I'm portioning out his food and we're home alone and he's hungry, I can just go to the fridge, pull out his container, heat it up, and there we go. So if you guys have any questions, please drop it in the comments below, and I would be happy to feature other videos that you guys have out there that you would like to have showcased on Adaptive Parent Project. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye bye.